Part to the ongoing Pro2041 Scanner series. This one is on part 1 of interfacing to a computer. To do that, you need a cable that is composed of the following. On one end, you need a stereo 1/8" mini male plug. Okay, it's an ordinary headphone plug. In fact, this was a male-to-female adapter that I cut the other end off, and I'm using it because it's got a molded end and it's a shielded cable. And on the other end is a female DB9 RS-232 connector. I have a hood on this one. There's only 2 pins for this, for the computer interface. Okay. And how that works is, normally when you plug in headphones, they need to be mono. For this scanner, it uses a stereo plug where the ring connector hooks to the scanner's data port. So you need there's several different cables that you can make. This is the simplest. On the one end, you have the RS-232 female, and only 2 connections are used. Pin 5 goes to ground, which is the one that's nearest the plug portion. And pin 3 goes to base or ring. It's called either base or, you'll see it as ring. And the tip is left unconnected. Okay. Some sources say you need to connect pin 2 and 3. You need to connect pin 2 and 3 together with a 1K ohm resistor, but other sources say it works just fine. Mine doesn't have that. It works just fine. And my computer, I'm using an old Windows 98 laptop that has a real serial port. So I have not tested a USB to serial converter, so I can't say whether it works. I may try to acquire one and see, but the RS-232 settings are 2400 baud, no parity, 8 data bits, and 2 stop bits. And you really don't need any special software. Hyperterm that comes as an accessory for Windows 98 works. You just need to set it up to the serial parameters above, and then you also need to set it so that it'll transmit in ASCII mode, and so it'll append a carriage return, because the scanner needs to see a carriage return line feed. And it's a one-way connection. There's no communication back to the PC from the scanner. So connecting the Pro2041 to a computer. So once you have your cable, you want to hook it up. I don't have it hooked up to the PC at the moment, but I'm just going to show you how this works. When you power on the scanner, you hold down the 3 and enter while you're powering it on. And I can't do that with one hand, so I'm going to do it and then turn it on. When you do any unplugging or plugging of the cable, make sure that the scanner's off. I'm not sure if it actually damages it or not, but that's the caution I've read, is to make sure that it's off before you're plugging or unplugging. Okay, so I'm just going to come back in 1 second, and I will power it back up in the computer mode. I powered up the Pro2041 in PC program mode. So again, to do that, hold down 3 and enter, power it on. Okay, and then the display will now say Program PC. Okay. To get out of that mode, you turn it off, you turn it back on, and it's a scanner again. Okay, while it's in this mode, when it's receiving communication from the computer, the display will change, and when it's done, it'll say finished. If there's an error of some type, it'll tell you if you have something wrong with your file or your communication settings. Okay, so I'm going to use Hyperterminal to connect to the scanner. So first of all, you need to set up a connection. As I have this on my COM1 port. This is Windows 98. It has a real COM port. So I'm going to go into, I don't have a serial adapter for my newer machine. So it's 2400 baud, 8 data bits, no parity, 2 stop bits, no flow control. And it uses the FIFO buffers. Really don't need to do that because this connection is so slow. Okay, so click OK on that. And the rest of the stuff I didn't change here. Okay, so we'll fire that up. You get a nag screen to upgrade it, but the plain version, as I've said, works just fine. Okay, so now we do it. In here, there's another set of properties, and in that one, if you go under settings, in the ASCII setup, you want to check send lines with line feeds, echo type characters locally, and I put in a little 100 millisecond delay. I probably don't need it, but I put it in. And then wrap lines, shouldn't need that. I left that as it was. Hit OK. No. We're connected to the scanner. I went over that before. And we're going to do send text file. And I have one that I've already created. Okay, and there it goes. Now, the scanner doesn't say anything. It'll just say PC Connect when it's receiving data. It doesn't give any indication that it's loading or anything. So when you put it into the PC Connect mode, that's where it stays. One other thing I did, another unsuccessful experiment, is this cable has 3 pins, additional pins soldered together, 6, 7, and 8. And that was to attempt to get it to work with Quick Basic, but it doesn't. Okay, so here it finished. The scanner says finished. So if it doesn't say finished, then it then there was some type of error, and there can be it could be a checksum, it could be connection, or it could be something else. And you notice here I have the file formatted in the way that I went over in the last video. So I programmed channels 10 through 19 and then channel 50. So, okay, so I just programmed the scanner. And as you can see here, channel 10. Channels 10 through 19 were programmed, and then I had channel 50, which was also programmed. And then any channel that wasn't in my list stayed where it was. So that's how you do it. And then the other thing was when I unplugged it, I had turned the scanner off, unplugged, and then I turned it back on and it came back up in scanning mode. So that's how you program the Radio Shack Pro 2041 scanner. And this is TRS-80 Model 1, saying 73. Till next time.